Welcome to Ad Intellect AI. I'm Rice, and over the past 12 years, I've worked in performance marketing and Google Ads with budgets ranging from $10 a day to over $10,000 a day. In this video, I'm going to break down the complete Google Ads mastery framework, from choosing the right clients to scaling high-ticket campaigns profitably. We'll cover 5 key areas: client selection, profitability math, scaling without leaks, connecting ads with CRM and sales, and finally, high-ticket strategy. This isn't about clicking buttons, it's about thinking like a performance marketer. Let's get into it. When we talk about building a premium Google Ads mastery program, we aren't just talking about where to click or how to set a budget. We are talking about the mindset of a high-level performance marketer, and that starts long before you ever open the dashboard. It starts with the very first meeting. The most important skill you can develop is knowing when to say no to a client. Not every business is ready for Google Ads, and if you take on a client whose business model isn't built for this ecosystem, you aren't just setting them up for failure, you are setting yourself up for a nightmare. When a client walks in, your first job is to be the gatekeeper. I always start with a very specific question. Have you ever run Google Ads before? I'm not asking because I care about their technical history. I'm asking to gauge their expectations. If a business owner is rigid about a $10 a day budget, they aren't looking for growth. They are looking for a miracle. If they spend $500 on ads and $500 on your fee, they need to generate massive margins just to break even. Most small local operations can't sustain that. They end up calling you every single morning saying, "Yesterday I spent $10 and only got 2 calls and one was a wrong number." You cannot build a strategy on that kind of friction. You also have to watch out for the account killers. In industries like packers and movers or local services, you'll find clients who want to play dirty. They'll try to use a competitor's brand name in their domain or their ad copy to steal traffic. Google is incredibly smart now. They will identify that brand infringement and they will suspend the account. If you are the manager of that account, that's a black mark on your record. We stay away from that. Now, let's talk about how you actually value your expertise. If you want to be treated like a partner and not a vendor, your pricing must reflect the value you bring. Most professional agencies operate on a hybrid model. For any budget up to $5,000 or $6,000 a month, we usually charge a flat management fee, somewhere around $300 to $500 plus taxes. Why? Because the amount of work it takes to set up a proper, high-converting structure is the same whether the client spends $1,000 or $5,000. But as the business scales, the risk and the complexity grow. Once a client moves past that $6,000 a month mark, we shift to a percentage of the media spend. Usually this starts at 10% to 15%. If you are managing $20,000 a month in spend, a 10% fee is $2,000. At this level, you aren't just a manager, you are a media buyer. Your job is to protect that $20,000 investment and ensure it produces a return. A client will tell you, "I don't have much money now, but start the ads with $5 a day and whatever I earn, I'll reinvest." Do not do this. Business is built on investment. If the owner isn't willing to take the risk on their own product, why should you take the risk with your time? Your goal is to find clients where you can create a story. A story isn't just about the numbers, it's about the journey. When this brand came to us, they were spending $500 and struggling. We rebuilt their landing pages, optimized their bidding, and now they are spending $5,000 a day profitably. Before we even look at a keyword, we look at the business. Is it scalable? Is the owner mature? Do they understand that Google Ads is an investment, not a lottery ticket? If the answer is no, walk away. If the answer is yes, then we move to the math. Once you've identified that a client has a scalable business and the right mindset, you have to move away from vibes and move into math. Most marketers fail because they start a campaign and then see what happens. A premium Google Ads mentor never does that. We know the result before the first ad even goes live. To do this, we use the keyword planner, but not just to find keywords. We use it to build a financial forecast. When a client asks, "How much should I spend?" or "How many leads will I get?" You shouldn't be guessing. You should be opening the tool and looking at the top of page bids. Let's take a real world example. Imagine you're working with a premium service provider, maybe a high-end moving company or a specialized consultant. You look at the keyword planner and see that for the most commercial high-intent keywords, the low-range bid is about $1 and the high-range bid is $3. To be in those top 4 positions where the real business happens, you take the average. Let's call it $2 per click. This is where you educate the client. If every click costs $2 and we spend $20, we get 10 clicks. Now, based on industry benchmarks for a well-optimized landing page, we expect a 10% conversion rate from click to lead. That means for every 10 people who visit the site, 1 person fills out the form. So your cost per lead, CPL, is $20. But a lead is not a sale. This is where most junior marketers stop, and it's why they lose clients. You need to ask the client, what is your lead to sale conversion rate? If they tell you that they close 20% of their leads, that means they need 5 leads to make 1 sale. Let's look at that math. $20 per lead multiplied by 5 leads equals a $100 cost per acquisition. Now you ask the question that determines the entire strategy. If you pay $100 to get 1 customer, are you profitable? If the client says, my service costs $150 and it costs me $80 to deliver it, then a $100 acquisition cost means they are losing money. At this point, you have 2 strategic levers. You either find a way to lower the lead cost, which is hard in a competitive auction, or you help the client increase their conversion rate or their ticket size. You must also consider the lifetime value. I've managed accounts where we spend $100 to acquire a customer on a product that only costs $100. On the surface, it looks like a failure, but if that customer stays for a year and spends $100 every month, that $100 investment just brought back $200. This is how big brands think. They aren't looking at the profit of the first transaction, they are looking at the profit of the relationship. If you are dealing with a no profit, no loss scenario on the first sale, you need to ask the client about their upsells. Do they have a premium version? Do they have a recurring service? If they don't and their margins are thin, Google Ads will be a struggle. If the average CPC is $5 and the client only has a $20 daily budget, they are only getting 4 clicks a day. Mathematically, they might only see 1 lead every 3 days. That is not enough data for Google's AI to learn, and it's not enough volume for the business to grow. You aren't just a guy running ads, you are a business consultant using Google Ads as a tool for growth. Once the client agrees to the math, then and only then do we build. But once the ads are running, how do you know what to keep and what to cut? That's where the audit comes in. Once the ads are live and the data starts flowing, your job shifts from architect to auditor. Most people think scaling a campaign means just increasing the budget. But if you increase the budget on a leaky bucket, you just lose money faster. True scaling starts with plugging the leaks. When you open a running account, you'll see dozens of keywords. Some are bringing in leads at $15 and others are spending $50 with nothing to show for it. This is where you need a cold clinical eye. We use the I-10 click data threshold. If a keyword has received 10 clicks and hasn't produced a single lead, it's officially on the watch list. But don't just hit delete yet. You have to look at the why. Is the keyword too broad? For example, if you're bidding on packers and movers, but the search term was cheap packing boxes, you found a leak. That person isn't looking for a service, they're looking for a product. You don't need a higher budget, you need a better negative keyword list. We categorize keywords into 2 buckets: hot keywords, affordable keywords. Hot keywords are the expensive ones. These are the best packers and movers in Lucknow or 2 BHK flat for sale. The CPC is high because everyone knows these people are ready to buy right now. Affordable keywords are broader, like moving tips or real estate prices. They are cheaper, but the conversion rate is lower. The secret to a premium account is balance. If you only bid on hot keywords, your CPL might be too high to be profitable. If you only bid on affordable keywords, your sales team will complain that the leads are trash. You need to find the sweet spot where the blended cost of leads keeps the business healthy. Now, here is a rule you must live by. The 3-day decision rule. Never ever make a major change based on 1 day of data. I've seen students panic because Tuesday was silent, so they doubled the bids on Wednesday. By Thursday, the account is a mess. Google's AI bidding logic needs stability. You look at the 24-hour data to make sure nothing is broken, but you only make strategic moves based on a minimum 3-day or even 7-day trend. Scaling is a slow build. You prepare the road before you drive the car at 120 km/h. If the road, your landing page, your keyword relevance, and your tracking is solid, then you can push the budget. But there's a deeper level to this. Even if the leads are coming in, how do you know if they are actually turning into money? If you only look at the Google Ads dashboard, you're only seeing half the truth. To see the whole picture, we have to look at the feedback loop. In premium performance marketing, your job doesn't end when someone fills out a form. If you only generate leads, you're a commodity. If you want to be a true partner, you have to focus on revenue. That's where the CRM, Customer Relationship Management System, becomes your most powerful tool, the real truth engine. A Google Ads dashboard shows one conversion, but a CRM shows the person behind that lead and, more importantly, whether they actually paid. By integrating ads with a CRM using UTM parameters, you can track which keyword produced real customers. I once worked with a law coaching institute generating hundreds of low-cost leads. On paper, everything looked great, but no one was enrolling. Instead of changing keywords, we checked the CRM and listened to call recordings. The leads were good. The issue was the sales team. After fixing the sales approach, those same leads started converting. This is why you must understand cold, warm, and hot leads inside the CRM. Cold, looking for general information. Warm, aware and comparing options. Hot, ready to take action. If most leads stay cold, find the leakage. Are calls happening within minutes or days later? In digital marketing, interest fades fast, often within minutes. With CRM data, you can see the real picture. Keyword A, 50 leads at low cost, 0 sales. Keyword B, 10 leads at higher cost, 5 paying customers. Without a CRM, you might pause keyword B. With a CRM, you know it drives the business. Tracking the journey from click to cash is what separates technicians from strategists, and it's essential for high-stakes niches like real estate. Real estate is the ultimate battlefield for a Google Ads expert. This isn't like e-commerce where someone clicks and buys a t-shirt. Nobody purchases a $200,000 apartment on impulse. It's a high-ticket, emotional, high-friction journey, and a standard strategy will burn your client's budget fast. To succeed, you must understand whether you're working with a builder or a broker. Builders sell a vision, brokers sell a solution, and most campaigns are for brokers. They often create landing pages for specific projects like Skyline Residences and bid on project name keywords. This is a hot strategy because these searches come from buyers already deep in the funnel. If the project isn't well known yet, go hyper-local. Don't target the whole city. Identify catchment areas by asking where current buyers live. Then target those neighborhoods with tight radius campaigns. Ad copy must filter aggressively. Leads are easy. Qualified leads are valuable. If flats start at $200,000, put the price in the headline, luxury 3 BHK starting at $200K. This discourages low budget clicks and saves money. 10 qualified clicks are better than 100 casual ones. Another tactic is competitor conquesting. You can bid on big builder brand names and position your project as a better option. However, use competitor names only as keywords, never in the ad text, to stay within Google's policies. The biggest challenge is the conversion gap. Real estate deals can take months or even a year. Without CRM tracking, clients won't see the connection between ads and sales. A $20 click today might generate a commission 10 months later. Tools can help, but campaign fragmentation works well too. Instead of one large campaign, use multiple small radius-based campaigns to protect the budget. In real estate, the goal isn't just a lead, it's a site visit. Once a prospect agrees to visit the property, most of the work is done. Every part of the campaign should push toward that single outcome, getting the buyer to the sales office. Stay tuned for more episodes. Subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon so that you get notified for the next one.